Okay, in the previous video, we talked all about how to set up your workbook, how to get the information in there from the client listing, how to put in a loss run, and how to personalize that workbook for a specific account. What we're going to do here now is we're going to talk about just how you can use this workbook and what information it can give you. Okay, let's now look at how to use this tool. So here at the top, we have all the information on loss ratios, account name, contact, insurance agency, all that information, experience mod. This is all pulling from the LC client listing. It gives you a nice piece of information there when you're out there with an account. The buttons here in gray and the buttons here in gold do different things. The ones in gold, they are navigational buttons. They're going to take you to, on this worksheet here, it's just going to take you to a place lower down. So if I click on this button that says cause right here, it's going to take me just down in this one worksheet to where all the losses by causes are broken out. All the charts are set up the same way. You're going to have two options when it comes to charts to discuss. The ones that are on top, these are the top 5 injuries, and it's broken out by percentages. So you got combative, for this one here, you got combative injuries, slip, trip, falls. The bars in gray, that's the percent of the frequency, and the bars in gray is the percent of severity. So if I'm looking at this chart here, I can see that combative injuries are the most frequent type of injury of the top 5. That's in red, and they are also the most expensive. If you go down here, down below, where you got this gold trend line here, the numbers are actually going to tell you the number of the number of injuries reported for a given injury cause, and then the bars in red are going to have the amount of the claims values. So, but all the charts are set the same way to make it easy to understand and relate to all this. For each set of charts, like for this one for injuries by cause, you have the options to hide or unhide these charts. For instance, if you've got there's a set of charts here that's by location or by state. If they only have one location or only in one state, for that workbook, you're going to probably just want to hide those things. So you can actually just click the hide button, and it'll hide all the charts there. But if you want to unhide them, you can unhide them just like that. And then there's the return to top button. You click on this, and it takes you back to the top of your dashboard here, your workbook. If we get back to the cause, you'll notice that it had data table. All the charts have the data table option on there. The hide, unhide, and those buttons there, those are running these things called macros. When you're on your iPad, you won't be able to hide or unhide any set of charts. You can do it from your computer, but you can't do it from your iPad. What you can use from your iPad is if you want to see the data table, or if you want to return to the top, those will still work. The data table, this is literally just what is populating all the charts. So here we've got combative, slip, trip, fall. We see the number reported, the claims cost, the percent of the reported claims, and the percent of the claims cost. So combative injuries, they cost $377,000 of the total $575,000 in claims cost. That's 65.54 of the claims values. I hope that makes sense, but they're all done the same way. And then you always have the option to return to the actual chart. If I click this, it's going to take you back to the charts by cause. There they are. If I were to have clicked, go back to the data table, dashboard, it takes me back to the very top of the dashboard, which is here. All right, so, and it's got, you can look at these at your leisure, but it's got by severity, cause, slip, trip, fall detailed, safe patient handling detailed, by location, by occupation, policy period. Self-explanatory on those. The only one that's different is this one for loss trending. And click on this. What this will do is this will trend any specific injury cause over a series of policy periods. So this one's set up right now for combative, and it shows the different policy periods, 11, 1, 15, 16, 17, 18. If I want to change that to a different cause I want to see, because for this one, obviously, the combative injuries was the driver. So if I go back to data table here, I can actually pick a injury cause down here. So to back that just a second, I click this icon here, and it's going to show every kind of injury that they had. I know the second leading cause was slips, trips, and falls. So if I uncheck combative and check slip, trips, and falls, it's going to do the same thing that chart had before for the combative injuries. It's now going to do for slips, trips, and falls. So we'll see for each policy period the number of slips, trips, and falls and the claims cost. So I'm going to say OK. Notice it changed to slip, trip, falls. If I go back to the chart, now we're looking at slip, trip, falls over the past 4 years. Got the trend line shows the number of injuries. The red bars shows the claims cost. All right, but that's literally every one of the charts. Same thing. You know, you have the option to hide, unhide. You can see the data table. The only one that's a little different is that loss trending one, like we just said. All right, now up here, in the buttons in gray, this is where you can really customize this workbook for an account. So if you're going out to meet with them, you can actually click on these meeting notes, and you put the date in there. If you want to make notes on any specific topics you want to cover, you can use this to kind of help. It's like a leader guide for your meeting. Over here in gray where it says injury management, lag time, topics discussed, you can change these. It's a drop down. Just because I like to keep things easy for myself, I kind of, with the help of, let's see, Jackie and Scott and others, I'll probably forget everybody that's helped out with this, putting together a list of the standard talking points or discussion points for a meeting. You can pick whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about reported workplace injuries, and let's say you want to make some notes on those, you can actually do that here from your computer. And when you're in your meeting, you can use this to kind of make sure you've got all your you cover everything you want to cover. All right, so once you've done that, and these parts here, you can use or not use this. If you like to use paper, it doesn't matter. It's just here as an option. So you got meeting notes, LCSS. You can actually keep your LCSS in this thing. I mean, this is like one-stop shopping because for me, it's always a pain. I have to go to get different, get my LCSS over here and look at my old letters to find my recommendations and all that. This will just make it a lot quicker to find everything. So you just put in just like your other, like a regular LCSS. You just type in your actionable steps. I was going to say action items, but actionable steps. And notice that the row is only this high. If you have a lot to write, all you gotta do is make that row bigger. So this is how it's gonna look when you first get it. It's gonna have 2 service goals, and then it'll have all the dates. You can literally copy and paste from your Word document the dates and paste them right in here. You can sort them if you want to, A to Z or Z to A, by just clicking that little button there for date, and you can sort. So if you want to go most recent to oldest, you do Z to A, which is what it's set for already, and it'll keep them in order from the most recent visit to the oldest visit, the further down you go. 2 service goals, like I said, to start with. If you need to add another service goal, you can click appropriately titled, add service goal, and it'll actually put in another service goal here. So to show this off, add service goal, and boink, now we've got 1, 2, 3 service goals. Each comes with 3 actionable steps. If you need a 4th step, you can hit, when you get to the last, like in this one here, that's the 1st step, 2nd step, 3rd step. I need a 4th. From the 3rd step, you just hit add actionable step, also appropriately named. Click on that, and it's going to ask you to insert a new row. You hit yes, and there's your new row. Hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. You can come in here and you can change whatever you want to or need to. Just remember there's buttons over here. And you can actually export this to a PDF. So if you need to put this into Duck, you can just click export to PDF. It'll bring up a window. It'll ask you if you want to save where you want to save it. Just save it whatever name you want to. Save it wherever you want to. And there it is. All right. That's all for the LCSS. And it automatically brings over the name of the account and the date. It's just today's date. So go to the dashboard. So that was the meeting notes, LCSS. Recommendations. If you have recommendations, you can track them all in one spot. You can put, if it impacts the risk grade. You can give it the rec number. Can't type. The date of recommendation. Let's put put it in there. You can put if it's open or closed. We'll put it in progress. Recommendation. I hate writing recommendations. Just don't do a very good job at it. So there's a bunch of stock recommendations you can put in just by clicking this little drop down. So click in the recommendation subject and go down here and you can put, we're going to talk about a written safety program. So if I click that, it shows it up in here. If you can't see the whole thing, this is an Excel spreadsheet. So when the icon turns that little plus symbol at the very bottom of the row, you just left click, hold it down, and now it got more space. You need even more space, you just click again, as much as you need to. If you don't like what's in there and you want to, kind of see this and maybe write your own recommendation, there's an override box here. So whatever you type in this box, it's going to replace here. So I'm going to put test. Now as soon as I hit enter or I click anywhere else in the spreadsheet, I'm going to hit enter just to show it. It's going to put that word test into that recommendation instead of the recommendation that comes up there automatically. Boink. It even makes that sound effect. Not really. But if I want to get it back, like, you know what, that original recommendation was fine. Delete it off and it's back. All right, so I'm going to leave that there. Come back to the dashboard. There's another button here that says Rex letter. So if I'm wanting to put these recommendations in a letter, because this will track them for me. I can keep track of everything right here. But it doesn't look so pretty going into a letter. Hit the Rex letter option, and it's going to take, I believe it'll do, 15 or 20 recommendations. It'll actually bring them over into here, and it'll write down what the recommendation is. Again, if it's cut off, you could just make it bigger. And then you can put comments that tie this recommendation to anything you want to make comments about. You can make comments about this recommendation. The location. If you're doing a site visit, you can actually put in like the location you were visiting. It'll have the subject of the recommendation here, the rec number that you've given it. That's over here in blue. This is where you can actually put a picture in. Thank you, Melissa Brooks. So if you right click on this square, it'll have the option. I said right click, by the way. Right click, change picture from a file, and you can put any picture you want to in here. I'm going to put this guy in there. Insert. And it's automatically going to format it to fit this size. I don't know if anybody's ever pasted a picture into a document before, but sometimes it's way huge. You have to shrink it down. This way it keeps it where it is. And if you had 10 recommendations, these all are blank right now because there's nothing to show. Because on the other recommendation sheet here, these are all blank. So, but if you're going to go and if you want to put this into a letter, once you had it all formatted where it fit, you just highlight it up like this and hit copy. Okay, let me do this from the top. Highlight it, right click, hit copy, and then you can go into a Word document and just hit paste. If you you can paste it as a picture. Okay, I know. Undo that. You can paste it into your Word document as a picture. It'll look just like this. So, but let me just bring up a Word document real fast so we can see this. Blank document. And it keeps all the formatting the same when you put it as a picture. You just can't make any changes to it. So if you make any changes, you put in there before you put it in as a picture. And to show you what it's like, I've got this copied. If I hit, see a little icon, a little landscape on it, that means it's a picture. So now it's in this Word document. It looks just like that. It's a picture though, so you can't do anything else with it. So any changes, like I said, you do it from the Excel workbook before you paste it. All right, so back to workbook, go back to the dashboard. Let's see, client experience summary. Click on this. This is where you can see for every year we've had a policy. Every policy period we had for an account will show up here. The policy number, written premium, earned premium, number of claims for that policy year, the incurred costs of that policy year, claims per 100K for each year, and then the loss ratios. You can print it off too as well just by clicking the print button. Let's see the last few here, and then we'll just field questions as they come along. Correspondence, you can put down all the people that are CC'd on letters, and then that way if there's ever a change, you get an email from the agent or the insurer like, hey, we need to take this person off, add this person. You can do it here. That way you know who to keep on your letters. You've got the risk evaluation. It's there, so if something comes up, there's a change in operations or any one of the injury exposures, you can make a couple of notes if you need to, so you can update your risk evaluation. And it's got, by the way, it's got everything on there that's relative to a specific account, even though you can keep their current risk grade. If you have a revised risk grade, it'll have it on there. It's even got the grading chart in there, so you can refer back. This one's set up right now for manufacturing. It's a drop down. So if this account is actually a healthcare account and the risk evaluation for this was a healthcare account, you just click on healthcare and it'll change it to all of the healthcare specific risk evaluation headings. And it does it for general, healthcare, education, manufacturing, and social service, and municipality. All right. See, repaired claims. Not gonna really go into that one right now. It's you can do it on here, but it's a little cumbersome. So for right now, let's just skip this piece. The last one's loss analysis by cause. This is a report again you can set up before you go out to an account when you're working from your laptop to set up your workbook. Remember, the iPad's very good at presenting it, but it's not. You can't really make a ton of changes to it. This is one of those that you want to have it set up. If there are certain injuries you want to look at by cause, you can over here, you can click off, you know what, combative and slips and falls. You know, I want to be able to see all the information for those while I'm out there. And it'll actually have those in there. Claimant name, loss date, cause of injury, the detail, body part, loss description, and then the incurred cost. If you want to, you can sort them by date. You know what, I want to have these, but I want to look at them. I'm going to sort it by cause of injury. So I have all the combatives at one place and the slip, trip, fall on the other. I'll just sort them Z to A, and then it'll actually go through. I didn't do that. I think I have it locked down, but you can just sort them out like that, and it will. That way you can refer back to, you know, certain injuries and not all of them. Because if you're looking through a loss run from RiskView that's got every injury on there, it might be hard to find them. This way you can just find what you need when you need it. Let's see, and that's pretty much it. Last two things I'll say is loss control resources. This is also a button. If you click on UnitedHeartland.com, it'll actually open up a website for UnitedHeartland.com. Walk Safe, it takes you to and these are all the public side of the website. With UnitedHeartland.com, webinars, the social service campaign. This is all from the Toolbox. Risk Connection, you can take you to where you can sign them up for the newsletter. The Lazage online training, it opens up the training administrator website for Lazage, so you can just go in there and log it, put in your training administrator number if you want to show that off. Safe patient handling videos, click on there, it takes you to the website where you put in the UHSPH password to get access. The forms library and RiskView, these are the only two that don't really take you to a specific place. It shows you a picture of the forms library from the non-public side of our website. Then RiskView it does the same thing, just kind of shows pictures of what it can do. So, for example, you click on forms library, it's going to open up. You know, these are just pictures. Gives them a taste of what they'll see when they go on there. And then for RiskView, it just has just about RiskView as a screenshot of a dashboard. But that's pretty much how to work this thing. And you know, here's the videos. You can click on these. The video for this one will show you how to set it up an initial workbook, and then this video here on how to use the workbook. So hopefully that answers any questions. And if you do have any questions, just feel free to reach out and give me a call. Okay, a little bit about how to maintain your account workbook. It really doesn't do a lot of good to put this much effort into something and not be able to, use it moving forward. So really, there's only a little bit you have to do to maintain this workbook, and we will talk about that now. In terms of maintenance, there's really only two things you have to do. When you go see an account, like in the next quarter, so let's just say you set up your workbook and you saw them in August, and now it's November and you're going back out to see them again. Prior to going back out to see them, you would open up that account workbook and update the LC client listing portions. You're going to copy and paste those two sheets from the LC client listing and paste those into your workbook. And then you're going to go and get a new loss run, up to date loss run, and paste it in just like you did when you set the workbook up the first time. The only information that's going to change is the information in the LC client listing and that loss run. But as far as any other work you've put into the workbook, it will maintain, it will not be overwritten. Okay, so in terms of this video, what have we done? Well, we've gone through the workbook, we've gone through all the buttons, we've discussed the functionality of it, how you can use it to assist in servicing your accounts, and we've also talked about how you can maintain the workbook. Because this is something where if you're going to put enough time into putting one of these together for your account, you're going to want to use this thing moving forward. And it really comes down to just putting in updated information from the UH client listing. So you're going to paste those two worksheets in just like you did when you first set up the account workbook, and also pasting in an up-to-date loss run so that all your loss values are current. And if there's ever any questions, just give me an email, give me a call. I'd be glad to help you out.